So a couple of quick announcements. Coach Greg Adams and Sydney MGTOW did a fantastic live stream a couple days ago. I'm going to put the link below if you haven't checked it out. Check it out. I think you're going to be impressed with the banter and the information provided. Also, Mr. Elite. Mr. Elite is no longer on YouTube. He's on something called Anchor.fm, and I'll see if I can find a link. Someone asked me the question, where's Mr. Elite? I said, shit, I don't know. He's gone. His channel's bye-bye. But he wasn't kicked off. He voluntarily shut the channel down, and he's doing some other stuff. So I'll put that stuff below so you can go check out Mr. Elite and his good stuff. So married to the state is the topic of this particular conversation. Because we hear it all the time, don't we? Oh, well, women's strong, powerful, we don't need bicycles, blah, 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 blah. But the second there's trouble, who do they call? It ain't Ghostbusters, it's Big Daddy freaking government, isn't it? They're married to the government. Now, when I say they, particularly I'm speaking about single women and feminists. You see, the whole thing with feminism, they keep saying patriarchy, evil blah, blah. What they mean is evil capitalism. Oh, the patriarchy doesn't exist. Capitalism does. And that's what they hate. They don't like it. So when you hear patriarchy in your brains, please, if you would, substitute capitalism, because that's really what they're pissed off about. They don't like it because it requires work, competition. You don't always get your way. And what they don't understand, of course, is they don't future well that the socialist paradise that they envision, it will never happen. Despite all the evidence showing that a socialist, dictatorial, authoritarian government, yes, including Nazi Germany, doesn't work, at least in the long run. Yeah, there's probably some short-term gains. Yeah, sure. Why not? But in the long run, some animals are more equal than others. So everybody can have their equal helping of misery, well, except for the top people. So you can even have more misery if you want in a socialist system. You can have all the misery you want. But the top shelf, always. Joseph Stalin did not want for anything. Adolf Hitler did not want for anything. The current fat guy in North Korea does not want for anything in his socialist paradise. I mean, I think I read a figure somewhere. He imports millions of dollars of Western booze and cigarettes and all kinds of shit, while the people he rules over are starving to death, eating fucking rocks. Anything to put something in their stomach so they don't feel the pain of hunger. That's what you get with socialism. So it really shouldn't be a big surprise that feminists, single women especially, they want bigger government. Now, the anecdotes I've heard, I don't have the facts before me, but I mean, I've seen it in real life, and it's anecdotal. Women who are married, and especially women who are married that have children, tend to get more conservative. Single women, feminists, they're all radical, liberal, whatever, Bernie Sanders people. Women who get married and have children tend to be more conservative. Why? Think about it for a minute while I take a sip of my beer. They want to keep the resources that they make in their freaking control. They want to keep it so they can raise the kids. They want the nice house. They want the car. They don't want to give it to the government. Generally, conservative leadership, Donald Trump, George Bush, Ronald Reagan especially. Bush 1, no. No. Wolf in sheep's clothing, in case you missed it. They tend to want to cut taxes. They tend to want to cut regulations. They tend to want to get the hell out of the way of people. Here, you have all the liberties. Here's your rights. Go do what you want. Amen. Have a good day. However, On the left, they want to take more of your tax money because they want to redistribute it to those poor people whom, in general, have made their own fucking bed. Oh, I had 16 children out of wedlock. I can't find a baby daddies. Give me money. But I got knocked up and I had 7 kids. Someone's got to pay for this. Big daddy government. Do you see my point? Donald Trump, a couple days ago, signed into law giving 12 weeks of paid paternity or family. What they mean is maternity leave, guys. I mean, let's be serious here. To the federal employees. I'm terribly sorry. And this is the crux of my argument. Why are you making me pay for your choices in life? That's a bullshit. I mean, I could show you my tax bill. I don't want to reveal too much, but I'm in the 5 figures, people, in federal income tax. Yeah, I do okay, but it's a chunk. And when I write that check at the end of the year, I'm like, holy shit, what? And then back in my beloved sweet home Colorado, I get to cough up another 4-figure amount for state income tax. I'm paying a lot of money into taxes. And most of it, I totally agree with. Military, we need airports, we need, roads, we need, armies, we need all that stuff. Schools, yes, yeah. Okay, it's my rent to live in this glorious country we call the United States of America. Okay. But when you take half of that money and you give it to someone else for shitting out a child, they had the kid and went on, I have a fucking problem with that. I'm terribly sorry. I've made some shitty decisions in my life. I didn't just get here as a privileged white male with a penis. I went through a lot of bullshit. Went to college. I had to struggle. When I was a kid, we were just talking about it the other day. Yeah, I had sugar sandwiches or ketchup sandwiches or tomato soup made out of ketchup and water. Yes, done all that shit. Long time ago. Very poor coming up. And so I said, I don't want to be like that anymore. I don't want that. And so I did something else. I changed my path in life to make it more possible to be more successful. And so now I make a pretty decent salary, and so I don't have to worry about buying a soda or something, which at one time I did. I told you that, I think. So Trump signed into law 12 free weeks of money for federal employees. Who do you think is going to take the most advantage of that? Can you determine that? But now the president wants to take it and make every company in the fucking country above a certain amount of employees pay someone 3 months for not being there. That is absolute fucking bullshit. But it's absolutely what feminists want. They don't want to be responsible for any choices in their life they make if things go bad. Well, I want a career. I want to get a PhD. Okay, great. What did you get your PhD in? Anthropological studies on the island of Fiji. Okay. And I want my debt forgiven because it's 150. You made the decision. You chose that. We hear all the time, not enough women. Why the fuck don't you become an engineer then? After all, 40 years ago, there were far more computer engineers that were female than today. It's gotten worse, and of course, the answer is always the evil patriarchy, capitalism. Because it's not because women don't choose to go into those fields. They want to do something else with their lives, and they should. You do whatever you want with your life. I mean, for God's sake, we have one. I don't want to force you into doing anything. You want to have children out of wed? Go. Have a day. You want to be, a thought? Hey, yeah, it's your life. But it starts getting to be problematic when you expect me to fucking pay for it. Okay? Well, you're saying, but hamster, big corporations like McDonald's and whatever, they're gonna pay it. It's not coming out of your pocket, you whining man baby. How stupid do you have to be? Could you please take an economics course? Taxes, fees, all that shit is not paid by the company. It's paid by the consumer. So if companies are forced to pay 3 months of salary to someone who isn't producing, that cost will be passed on to me. Do you get it? So what's your solution, hamster, to all this? It's very, very simple, and it requires no government intervention, which of course means the Democrats will be against it. Very simple. Anyone can put away per year 3 months of salary before tax. And that 3 months of salary can only be used when you're on maternity or paternity leave. Boom! Problem fucking solved. No government intervention, no free handouts. Well, a little bit. There it is. It's like a 401k for having a baby. Maternity 401k, if you want. That way the people responsible for making decisions in their own life to have a child, they get to be held accountable for it. How more simple can it get? You set aside money for when the time comes you want to have a baby, there you go, you're paid. And you even throw in some for health insurance to keep that going when you're not working. But to expect corporations to fucking pay someone who isn't there for 3 months is absolutely ridiculous. Especially when that something is a personal choice. It's not being sick. You decided to have a baby. Mom and dad, you pay for it. But that's insufficient because you can't buy votes with that, and it doesn't increase the size of the government. Do you understand this? So young women, they're not married, but they're married to the government. And they want it to be bigger because the bigger it is, the more shit they could potentially get at the expense of mostly men. I'll put the link below. James Maxwell, thank you for listening.